Hi, ladies. Let me know if you are joining me live for the Selling with Soul masterclass. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. Hopefully, I'm just going to double check in the Facebook group that everything is actually working. Da 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 da. I can see some of you already messed. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let me know if you are joining me live. I can see it on my phone, so I think we're good now. Let me know if you're going to be joining me live or if you are watching back on the replay. But for the purpose of time, because I did not know that this was a bank holiday when I booked this session. Because does anybody else find that when you become an entrepreneur, you actually become a little bit feral and you don't kind of conform to normal bank holidays and weekends and social hours? So I totally forgot that this was a bank holiday when I first booked this. But equally, I actually think that it's worked out for the best because I think with it being a bank holiday, hopefully you will get lots of insights from today's session and you'll have the time and the space to reflect on some of those points and then obviously go away and start to implement some of those, which is what it's all about. I did not want this to be another free training for the purpose of free training that nobody actually does anything with, right? So that's my intention today, is that you come, you get some aha moments, it gets you kind of plant some seeds of awareness, and that you continue to do the work with what I'm sharing with you today. So let me know if you are here. I can see there's a few of you on live, but I know that there are so many people that haven't yet joined the group. So again, for the purpose of the group and anybody watching back on the replay, I'm just going to kind of move um, into it and move through today's session so that you can get the most amount of value, because there is nothing worse than signing up for a free training and either it's one extended long sales pitch or the first 10 minutes is absolute nothing and you just kind of waste your time. So, and also, this kind of feeds me in nicely to the fact that I am a manifesting generator, and we're going to be talking a lot about your human design today and how that needs to integrate in all of your business practices. So, if you are aware of your human design energy profile, then let me know in the comments also, because the way that I'm going to be leading today's class is very much in alignment with that. So, it will make sense as we go through. So, can't see any comments yet though, so just let me know, because I've already had some of you messaging to say that you were in the group waiting for the live. I can see that the live is on my phone, but I do have a tech team you'll be very excited to know they're being onboarded at the moment. So just kind of a fun backstory. I've just recently finished my maternity leave with baby number 6. Oh, perfect. So, Emma, if you are here and you can see it, see the live, just let me know in the comments. It's like blink once for yes, twice for no, so that I know that you're here. And part of me working in alignment with my energy type is that I need a team to help me with the execution of what it is that I do best. So, great. I can see a few more of you jumping on, which is amazing. The comments are starting, so that is great. Yes. Hi, Lorna. So great to have you here. Right, let's get started then, shall we, ladies? This is your bank holiday after all. If you can hear me okay and everything's good, let me know. So, first of all, if we are not yet firm friends, I just want to give you a little introduction to me, because again, that feeds into what I'm going to be talking about today. So, essentially, my name is Rebecca Barr. I am otherwise known as the Femalepreneur Coach. That's my business brand, or one of my business brands. I am an award-winning entrepreneur. So I've been in business for over 10 years. I started in brick and mortar businesses, and then I moved into the online space probably, I don't know, around 7 years ago now. I've been coaching. That was a natural extension of what I have been doing since I was 4 years old, which is essentially identifying the blind spots in how people are doing things. I am also a mama to 6, so I just had my 6th baby recently. I've just finished my maternity leave and ready to come back with a bang, because I think what I'm going to be talking about today is very much needed right now. The amount of conversations that I've been having with women and also men who are really feeling that collective shift coming in, that they are starting to feel overwhelmed, they're starting to feel burnt out, over it, meh, just feeling like things are harder than they need to be. There's a lot of negative messaging in the press and the media right now. And I just know, having been around for a little while, especially in business, and seen many iterations, economic downturns, COVID, challenges, successful businesses, failing businesses, that there is always abundance that we can tap into, even in the darkest of times, and that you create your own luck and you create your own economy. And that is the beauty of being an entrepreneur. So when everybody else is going left, I always go right and encourage my clients to do the same. And like I say, there is always more money and more opportunities available to us. But when things are feeling hard in our business, that is an opportunity to pivot, to realign, to level up, and to just kind of take a blank piece of paper and a fresh pair of eyes to what is not working right now, so that you can come at it from a feminine creative perspective, which is also always from a point of um, being a gentle observer and looking for the opportunities and opening ourselves up to creative solutions, because in order to move forwards, because there is always a way. So as I said, I've been in business for over 10 years. I am a best-selling author. I've been featured on lots of in different publications on Fox News, NBC later this year, and I'm also a consultant to other 6 and 7 and even 8-figure entrepreneurs and coaches in the space, which again is all testament to my human design energy profile, which is a manifesting generator. So the fact that I have, and also I do this um, with pretty much a 3-hour workday, which is amazing. I have multiple business interests. I also have 6 children. I homeschool. And this is me living in alignment with who I was meant to be, which is a woman who is a manifesting generator, Gemini with ADHD, who is essentially multi-passionate, that needs to have the freedom and the flexibility and the space to do things at a very high level. Um, and that's what I'll be talking about a little bit today. So how this is going to work is that I have quite a few different top level ideas that I want to plant some seeds for, to get you thinking bigger in your business. As I said, this is an incredible day today, whilst you've got the space, and hopefully you have gifted yourself the time to get really intentional with this masterclass, because anybody that knows me, that's been in my energy for a little while, knows that I don't muck about. I'm not here to sell you lots of stuff that you don't need. Alignment is everything for me, because what ultimately drives my business is sustainable business. As I said, I've been in business for a really long time, and I've seen so many incredible people come and go over that time who just could not figure out the business aspect of their business. And that was definitely me at the beginning. It was a baptism of fire coming from corporate into entrepreneurship. But this is why I just have that commitment to give so much value, because ultimately I want you to be here in 5 years' time. I want you to be here in 10 years' time. And I want you to be ultimately living life on your own terms. And that comes from earning a really good, sustainable living from your business in a way that you were always meant to deliver that business, not how other people are telling you that you need to run it. So today I'm going to be talking. Essentially, this is my methodology for today's, or my plan for today's session. I'm going to be taking you through, like, for me, when I talk about soulful, sustainable business, what that ultimately means for me is that you have a business that is an extension of your values and whatever personal mission that you have. Because most of us have been brought to entrepreneurship because we have some sort of inner knowing that what we were doing previously wasn't necessarily it, that there's more to life. We want to have more impact. That's part of our calling as a spiritual being. Obviously, you can see that I like to think that I mix the masculine with the feminine in business. I'm an embodiment of that. So I am the most like spiritual person that believes in karma and energy. I'm a money mentor. I'm supposed to be an embodiment of abundance, and I believe in all of that. But also, I'm very much in my masculine. Also, I have a very strategic head. It's why I'm a consultant for other coaches, and I've been doing this all through my corporate career. So I am, or I was, a HR manager, which focused on like talent management and motivational theory and how to get the most from your people. And actually, I've had a lot of different careers throughout my life. event management, and all of this has kind of like been moving me closer and leading me up to this point, which is what I do now. I obviously am a business coach, I'm a money mentor, I'm a best-selling author. I create transformational events, and sorry, up until recently I've worked exclusively with women. I felt really aligned to that cause to help women because it's harder for us to make money, believe it or not, for so many different reasons, and I'll dive into a little bit of those um, shortly. But actually, now what is coming through for me in this next season and evolution of my business is that it's actually opening it up to men also, because I believe that if you are just a heart led, good person, you deserve to be the ones that are wealthy. And the more that I can get collective wealth into the hands of heart led people, the better that the world becomes. That's how we make the world better, is by healing our own shizzle and trauma and anything that's holding us back from being seen, being visible, being the change that we want to see to our fullest expression of that in this lifetime. Then the better it all becomes. So that's part of my mission. So that's what I'll be talking a little bit today, is about a soulful business is having that values and mission that underpins everything you do in your business, creating an offer that you are really excited to sell. So I'll be talking about that a little bit today, at a price point that feels good. And this is the same whether you are selling services, products, whether I know I have a lot of property people in my space who are looking for investors. That's still an offer, an invitation that you are making to other people, whether you have a network marketing business. If you have any control or autonomy over how it's priced, that will come into today's session, to an audience that are your people. So we're not trying to sell to everybody, just the people that are our people, and in a way that feels natural and leverages all of your natural talents, traits, and abilities. That to me is having a soulful business. But what needs to underpin all of that is obviously your human design, because we are not meant to uh, essentially deliver and sell and market in the same way as people that have different profiles to us. But even deeper than that, we also need to have a belief system that tells us that what we want, so a belief system that's in alignment with our goals and what we know in our hearts is available and meant for us, but that we have a belief system that tells us that what we want is safe for us to receive, and that we are worthy of receiving it, because those will be the two biggest blocks to why your business is not currently a success. Either you don't believe that it is safe for you to have what you want, or you don't believe that you are worthy of having what you want. And obviously, abundance is our natural state. We are meant to live and thrive in this lifetime as spiritual beings having a human experience. I fully believe that in my heart and my soul, and I know that to be true. And I know that when good people make good money, the world becomes a better place because everybody else around you is lifted up. So that is what I'm going to be covering today. If that feels good to you, then obviously lean all the way in. Grab a notebook, grab a coffee. Obviously, I'm high energy, I talk quick. I want to give all the value and tangible action steps that you can take from today's session. And full disclosure, I will be making an invitation for you to join me inside my brand new academy, which is currently in its beta launch. I'm going to make you an absolutely no-brainer offer, which is to join, because I like to get all of this out of the way. Otherwise, whenever I watch a free program, I'm always like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's like, yeah, that sounds good. What are you selling me? So just to eliminate all of that, for me, the most natural way for me to sell is to give you loads of value. And if we part friends at the end of this masterclass and you've got what you need and that's enough, amazing. Because I believe in karma, and I believe that that is going to come back to me one way or another, even if it's just, not your time right now to invest. Totally get that. It has to feel easy. It has to feel aligned. It has to feel like a hell yes. It's why I don't really do sales calls, because I don't want to handle people's objections. I don't want to manipulate people into buying for me. I trust that my ideal client is a grown ass woman who can make her own decisions, and that if she doesn't invest, even though she knows that this is the right thing for her, that's because it's not her time. She's not ready on her journey, and she's not in a place to trust herself enough to make that investment and get whatever return that she needs on that. But essentially, the academy is in its beta launch. So if you are willing to hold my hand and help me to co-create that journey, it's a 12-month community. It's going to be academy that has all of the tools that I'm talking about today, but at the next level. And you'll also have access to me over the next 12 months while you implement and execute and move through your different evolutions. Because again, we're not here to stay stuck or stay stagnant. We're always continuing to strive for that next level, for our edge. And if you are a person that's into that growth mindset and just kind of being all you can be in this lifetime, then having that 12-month period has always worked really well for me, and I'll explain why when we get to the pricing and the offer creation, but also really well for my clients, because then they can just breathe. They're not on a deadline. They're not like 6 weeks and I've got to get the results or this was a waste of money. They've got 12 months to kind of, that season, to kind of evolve and expand into that offer, and it's all for the price point today of 697. So, and you can do it in payment installments if you want to. I don't want this to feel like an expense. I want it to feel like an expansion, an investment. And the more that I can make this round, so this is only for the women that are joining me for this week, because from next week, like the calls start, the content's there, like it's go time, and then the price will be increasing to 2222, and I have to hold firm on that in my boundaries, because I have to honor the people that are going to be investing at that price point. So again, like I say, the way that I like to sell is by trusting that my audience are not idiots, and that they know if something is right for them, that they are resourceful women that will find a way, like I have done many times, when I've just known in my heart that this person is for me and I want to be in their energy. I've made it work. So I'm going to trust that you are. I don't need to handle your objections. I don't need to put a hard sell. I don't need client set like slides and client testimonials. I trust that if it feels right, you'll know it, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. You're going to get so much value from this session anyway, but please stay in the group, because there'll be loads of more continued like resources and little things that I can share in here too. So even just being in this energy of this community is going to serve you one way or another. So if that sounds good, we're going to be going through your values and mission, creating an offer that you're excited to sell at a price point that feels good to an audience that are your people, in a way that feels natural. And I'll also be helping you a little bit with up leveling your money mindset beliefs so that you can actually receive the money, because that's where I see people go wrong. And I'm also going to be talking a little bit about your human design. So obviously there aren't any slides for today. So I'm going to link a blog post that I wrote on this a little while ago, around like your human design and how to leverage that for lead generation and also sales and marketing. So I'll pop it here later if you want to refer back to it, or you can just watch the masterclass again. So essentially, human design is a blend of, a bit like me, really. I really think that I always used to joke, like, I am the girl that can do all the things. I'm a jack of all trades, not necessarily a master of none, although as a manifesting generator, we can master and collapse time things very quickly and very easily, because we kind of fall down a rabbit hole with it all. So firstly, let me know if you would like to make more sales right now, if you would like to receive more money, if you know that actually, if I'm being really honest, I'm pretty fucking good at what I do, just not enough people know about it and not enough people are investing right now, and that's really disappointing, because I know that I am worthy and deserving of more. If that is you, let me know. But also let me know if business feels a little bit hard, or it doesn't feel like it's flowing, like the business is not businessing in a way that feels easy or natural, because genuinely how I run my business is easy. It's effortless. I'm obsessed with my business. I love it. There is no part that is hard to this. And mainly because I give myself permission to do it in a way that makes sense, for the fact that I do have kids and I've got other things going on. That is me leaning into my human design energy profile. As a manifesting generator, I can't do one thing and that's it. I am multi-passionate. I am faceted, and I need to have that room and that flexibility to be able to explore those things, or I feel boxed in, I feel suffocated. So let me know if any of that is you, if you know what your human design profile is. As I said, I'm not going to be diving too deep into this, because we do go deeper into it inside the academy, and I actually don't do human design readings anymore, but it is one of the many modalities that I use inside the academy. So I use breathwork, EFT, human design, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, trying to think if there's anything else in there. Obviously, I have a background in psychology, so this is all about the deep subconscious work, as well as the somatic work, as well as the kick-ass strategy, because I've also been in business a long time. But what I would say is that we do have a lady in this inside my academy already who's just transitioned from my last academy, Emma, who is a human design reader. So if you want to dive deeper into this, Emma, please make yourself known, because the reports that she can do for you are absolutely incredible and beautiful. And she's also like an intuitive psychic, and it's a really beautiful experience. So if you want a full reading, Emma, please make yourself known in the comments. If not, I will help you up later, girl, because she is the best person to do that. Because as I said, human design is just one part of it for me. Emma really is the expert, but it's essentially a combination of ancient energy systems and like the Chinese I Ching, the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah, as well as neuroscience, biochemistry, and quantum mechanics. So that is the yin and the yang for me. Um, I am, like I say, the most spiritual person, but I'm also an absolute nerd that loves to get into the detail. So that's what first attracted me to human design. But when I first really understood it, it was the biggest moment of validation in my career than I could tell you, because up until this point I'd felt like a failure. I'd felt like I was flaky. I couldn't stick to anything. I had these many seasons of my career, so I've done everything from obviously HR, could never specialize, couldn't, they were constantly trying to pin me down. But I wanted to, like, do you want to do recruitment? Do you want to do reward? Do you want to do learning and development? And I was like, I want to do it all. I don't want to like be put in a box and just have one part over here. I need to have that strategic oversight. But equally, I want to run off and live in Dubai for a few, like for a year, and basically go. And I ran corporate events across the Arab Emirates, Europe, hired private islands in Venice. I have had, like, lived in Egypt for a while. Like, I have had the most incredible, couldn't make it up, need to write a book life ever. And every time I talk to people, it's like I've had 20 lifetimes. But I'm a manifesting generator, and that's exactly what we're meant to do. We're meant to teach through our learned wisdom. We could literally be here all day, and it would be like American Pie. Like this one time at band camp when this happened, because I have all the stories and all the things, and I've traveled the world and I've lived abroad, and all of that has led me up to this point. And yet I still felt like that was a drawback. Like I couldn't commit, like I couldn't really stick to one thing and get like enough success in that area. I just always wanted to do a little bit of everything. And I put that down to the fact that I had ADHD, but actually it is just me being in alignment intuitively, naturally, with who I was meant to be. So understanding your energy type really helps you in your business, because from everything from knowing what kind of offers would make. And I have worked with clients in all with all different profiles. So there are essentially 5 different profiles that you can have. So there's the manifesting generator, which is me, the generator, the projector, the manifester, which is super rare. So randomly enough, I've done all of my kids um, readings as well, and the reflectors, which are less than 1% of the population. So I've never come across a reflector yet, but I have worked with all of the other energy profiles, and the strategy that we deliver for each of them is wildly different. Projectors are not going to be live launching. That would literally drain the life out of them, and it wouldn't make sense for how they were meant to deliver their gifts, because they are the wise owl of the collective. They're meant to be really diving deeper, quality over quantity. But a manifesting generator like me, I could be here live all day and I would still be here doing the thing, because it lights me up and regenerates my battery. So that's what frustrates me coming into the online space and seeing so many women that just couldn't make it work. It's because, first of all, you're probably being taught by a man. Because when I first came in 7 years ago, there weren't many women making big money. And how my coaching business kind of evolved was from me networking. Again, something that I would be doing intuitively. Let me know if you love a little networking event. And just, again, getting bored within my current business. So I moved from corporate. Essentially, it wasn't my decision. I wasn't a born entrepreneur. I was very much in the matrix, in the system, going through the motions, doing what I thought would lead me to success, which was the good girl thing to do, a career in HR, do my master's degree, and I was a single parent at the time. But my mum, essentially, it's like I always think when we are out of alignment with what we're meant to be doing and we're not operating at our highest potential, the universe has your back in a way that sometimes feels like it's really trying to fuck with you, if I'm honest. Oh, by the way, I also swear like a trucker. Sorry if that offends you. But it will feel like you're being tested. And actually, it's like that loving parent, when you're trying to ride a bike and then they let go of you and you're like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to kill me? And it's like, actually, they're trying to help you grow. They know that you're capable of doing these things. That's what the universe will do with you. And essentially, I was a single parent, 3 kids, doing my thing in corporate, absolutely bloody miserable, completely suppressed in every part of me, not able to do things my own way. Trying to mask and hide every part of myself to fit into this corporate mold. And the universe was like, no, bitch, that's not it. You are not meant to be doing that. I'd always wanted to kind of have my own business, never had the confidence, never had the inspiration of thinking. Again, because I'm a manifesting generator, I'm not meant to. I'm meant to respond and take inspiration from other businesses. And essentially, my mum was my main childcare giver. She was my supporter at the time. And I went to drop the kids off to work to her one day so that I could go to work in the city. And she'd had a stroke. And that was the end of my corporate career. It was like, and that was the end of that, because essentially this was long before the days of COVID where you could do flexible working, work from home. None of that was a thing. I worked in construction that were not very sympathetic to single mums. And it was like, well, you're no good to us. So that's that. So I sold my house, moved around like to the other side of the M25, bought a business that I had no business running, which was a barbershop. Never even stepped into a barbershop before. My brother thought it was hilarious. And bought what I thought was a turnkey business, and it was absolutely dying. And really found myself in that process. I didn't know that I was a bad bitch. Up until that point, I really didn't think that I was. Life had not been very kind to me. I'd been made homeless twice before at the age of 13, 14. So I had a very hard knocks upbringing, and it just kind of shook everything that I thought represented safety to me. But what I found in that process was actually that I was all I needed. I was my own safety, and I have never looked back. And again, like I say, that was me living in alignment with what I was meant to do. So let's just run very quickly, top level, through the energy profile. So even if you don't necessarily know what your profile is, you will probably start to resonate or align with some of the things that I'm telling you, and you're like, interesting, I must be a generator. So generators are essentially the life force of the collective. So they are the action takers who push things forward. When you're doing the things that light you up, your battery is continually recharged and you can go on forever. So when it's your thing, like you're so in it, you love it, you lift everybody up, your energy is magnetic, and ideas, opportunities, everything just seems to flow. You're here to master your craft and become that go-to expert. And when you are like doing your thing, everybody else is lifted up around you. There is nothing better on a night out than a generator who has given themselves permission to do things that they really want to do. The only flip side to that is when you're not lit up, when you don't want to do it, but you're doing it from a place of shoulds and musts and expectations, which a lot of us will be living under consciously and unconsciously because of the time that we're living in and the generations that we are. When you don't want to do it, go, everybody knows it. It's like my partner's a generator. He will do the things that I ask him to do, but if he doesn't really want to do it, it's really not worth it. Like I should probably have just done it myself, because his energy like literally depletes everybody else around him because he's moaning. And we really feel that shift from when he's like, oh my God, let's do it, da, 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 da. To when he's like, don't want to do it. And that's when you start to kind of almost like repel these things. So a strategy for a generator when it comes to business is to respond. So you are here to see what the industry trends are, client feedback, opportunities, anything that kind of comes your way, even if it's on Pinterest, on TikTok, social media. If there is something there and it's like, oh, exciting, interesting, that is your cue, internal cue for you to move with that that moment of inspiration and that download. So therefore, when it comes to selling your services, your offers, it's all about creating polls, in your stories to get that feedback, asking for client feedback, calling out clients in your sales copy, like, are you this kind of person who wants this kind of results, and asking them to to DM you so that you can respond to those inquiries. You don't necessarily want to put yourself out there and start like tapping on people's shoulders in the DMs, and that's why it's like such a bizarre strategy for me. Like, who wants to be, who wants unsolicited advice? Nobody. Who wants so therefore who would want, in the natural order of things, because we're all just people, and like, let's be humans, let's not be robots and sales robots. Who wants that unsolicited like DM, either trying to sell you something that you didn't want? I don't think that the conversion rate on those can be very good. But if you have invited somebody to send you a message and then they do, that is just, the next natural step, isn't it, to offer them a solution to work with you. So things like selling in your stories, creating engaging live video content is probably not only easy for you to create like it is for me, because a manifesting generator is like a hybrid of a manifestor and a generator, which means that you don't have to plan and you don't have to schedule too much out. It probably just feels natural. But if you do that, you're going to get people that can see you in your energy, people that can see your passion and your enthusiasm for what it is that you are talking about, and they're going to naturally lean in. You can also document your journey with behind the scenes content. I know when I wrote this blog, it was probably a few years ago, but now it's like, yeah, the B-roll content, like that was your jam. That is your opportunity. Show people that you're an embodiment of what you talk about and what you teach, and that will build trust in itself, not necessarily having to demonstrate your expertise. And because here's the thing, and I just mentioned it on my stories, like, caveat, we are living in an age of information. ChatGPT and Google are going to steal your business if you don't start to get really honest with who the hell you are and who you are meant to be and what you are meant to sell and who you are meant to sell to, and create something deeper than, yes. Oh, thank you, Edda. Rebecca is worth every penny. I've worked with her for a year. Yes. I'm so excited for this next evolution as well, and to join you on that journey. But if you don't start really like getting bloody honest as a business owner about all of those things, you are going to fall through the cracks. And that is the reality. That is the reality of it. You have to create something truly unique. And the only way you can do that is by leaning into you. Everything, every part of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, that makes you you, is what should be expressed throughout your business, which is why I've started with the human design element first. So, and I'm obviously, going to add some more details so you can refer back to this. So as I've mentioned, manifesting generators, that is me. We are the superhumans of the collective. The amount of times I get people say like, oh my God, you're a rock star, you're a superhero, I don't know how, super mom, don't know how you do it. And it's like, because this is who I was always meant to be. None of this feels hard to me. What would actually feel really hard to me is sitting at a corporate desk all day and talking about one thing and one thing only. That would drive me crazy. Having the flexibility, the freedom, the flow to be able to go where the energy feels good is what really lights me up. It doesn't even feel like work at all. I haven't really even had to do a lot of preparation or any of the things for today's session, because it's just like having a conversation with a friend, because that is how I choose to sell. That is what showcases my natural talents, which is that of a communicator as a Gemini. That's why I have a podcast, because I've been a chatty Cathy, and that's been on my school reports ever since I was 4 years old, and told that could do great things if she stopped talking. Now I get paid to talk, which is amazing. So we are typically like multi-passionate, get shizzle done kind of people. Our role is to move quickly and take inspired action as it hits. Not everything will be a win, but that's absolutely fine. It's just about keeping things moving and going with your intuition. This is why I have built or why I have recently invested 5 figures into a support team that enables me to do what I do best. And for the other roles in the collective, so there's probably projectors and things on there that would hate to be on a camera but love to work on a spreadsheet, and do all the system stuff. I've recruited for the skills, the other half of my yin to my yang type thing. So let me know if you have any team members or any aspirations to build a team this year, because probably, depending on your profile, you should definitely have a team that helps you with that. We're not here to finish everything that we need to start. We just need to get going. We are the queens at collapsing times because we often master things quickly. It's why I have so many different modalities. And again, I love to take things that, feel aligned and leave what doesn't. And for me, that means we often redefine what is realistic. We need to follow what lights us up. We're re-energized by our work when we give ourselves permission to work in that way. It's meant that I have completely redesigned my business, especially coming back after the baby. Um, I I have so many other interests now, as well as this business, that I just needed to scale back some of the things that I was doing. Um, and that again is just me realigning. And that's what I want you to do today. What is working in your business right now? What feels easy? What feels hard? What is not working in your business? And as I'm asking you these questions, if something's like, oh, yeah, I need to think about that, that is a point. That's an aha moment. Like, write it down, and journal on it later. Give yourself the space to really explore that, or let it marinate. Maybe when you're driving later, something will come up for you. Because if things are not working, then that is just a cue to do something different. If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got, and presumably here because you know that you want more. Variety is important. So this is why I love to build my business through collaborations, through having different mediums to express myself. So I have a blog, I write books, I have my podcast, I've got a YouTube channel, I'm on like most different platforms, TikToks, and that's good for me. The moment that it doesn't feel good for me, I won't do it, because I've given myself permission to know that even if I did do it, it just wouldn't convert in the same way. So therefore, it is a waste of my energy. As much as we talk about money leaks as a money mentor, it's also about energy leaks. And your energy is one of your greatest resources. So um, my energy is also activated by those that really inspire me. It's why I love to always be part of a community. So I'm always invested in a mastermind. The doors to the wealthy woman, well, I say wealthy, yeah, it is the wealthy woman mastermind. I was like, am I opening that up to men? No, I don't think so. So the Wealthy Women Mastermind doors are currently open as well. So if, bougie retreats and in-person sessions and increased opportunities for visibility and higher level strategies to scale is your thing, then obviously come and meet me over there. I love to be in community with other women because I fully believe in the collective mind and that you can spark inspiration. We know as women, there is nothing that you cannot fix with a cup of tea or a glass of wine and your girlfriends or people that are values aligned, because you can figure it all out. So that is the purpose of a mastermind for me, where I'm meant to create. I'm meant to see what other people are doing, and it's why I love to consult in other people's businesses and then take the bits and respond to the bits that I'm like, oh yeah, that feels aligned for me, and the bits that don't, I just leave it. We need to be the embodiment of our passion to really be magnetic. So it's about like getting really excited, being obsessed with what it is that you're talking about, always leading with our gut, checking in with others, listening to what feels good. Obviously, sometimes we can make mistakes, and I give myself permission with that. So that's not a problem. That's why I have a team. You can find it hard to niche. And obviously, once I learned this, I was like, yes, I'm not broken. I'm not flaky. This is just who I'm meant to be. And it completely revolutionized everything. So things that sales and marketing strategies that work for me are like speaking on my stories, live content, YouTube, podcasts, as I said, engaging videos, workshops, where people can really feel your energy. Now, not only does this work for me because this is me where I'm animated, I'm passionate, I'm excited, like I'm obsessed with what I'm talking about. So hopefully that lifts up the energy and really bridges that gap between what is possible for you. But also you can see what I'm like as a mentor. There is nothing worse than having a misalignment when it comes to your clients, because which is bizarre because I attract a lot of projectors, actually, people that should be like almost put off by my energy because it is not how they work. For some reason I attract a lot of projectors and people that are in opposite energy types because they want the outcome that I have, which is a very successful, six-figure business with lots of other things going on. But then they don't necessarily want to do it in the same way that I do it, and that is fine because I can show them lots of different strategies that would make sense for them. Um, and if you see me then in my workshop talking about all the things, being really animated, seeing that big picture vision of what is possible for you. And I'm an intuitive business coach. When I say I see it, I see it almost like a psychic vision. And I know when clients are saying to me, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because I can tell with everything that you're saying, with everything that I feel in my body, that is not it. That is not what you're here to do. And you're lying to yourself. Um, and this is why we have met, because I can see that for you and I'm not going to let you settle. So the amount of clients that have come to me to work on one business, like scale a business, and either we've sold it or we've created something new in the meantime and not even done that business. I had a client that worked for me with 6 months and we sold her business within the first 2 weeks. And then for the next 6 months, we were just working on her because, what had got her to the point where she was building a business that made her miserable. It's everything that underpins the business. Like I said earlier about your money mindset, your belief system that tells you that you have to be a good girl and do what, feels logical and other people are saying is right for you. That's what we had to work on. Now she's living her best life and she doesn't have a business, but she has other ways to make money. So she works in property now and does other things. And it's like she needed that permission, but it took us 6 months to get to that point. I'm here for it. I don't care if you don't have a business by the end of it. As long as you are happy, as long as you are fulfilled, as long as you are living your absolute best life, it is not for me to tell you what that is meant to be. And that for me still felt like a win. So that's how a manifesting generator is meant to show up in the world of entrepreneurship. And we have the best opportunity to do that because it really is your party, ladies, in case you forgot. There are billions of people in this world, and there is no end of ways that you can make money and monetize your gifts. If you are like, actually, I don't want to be a hashtag boss babe, I don't want to be on camera. There's people that are making money without even showing their face right now. We are living in unprecedented times where you don't have to do things one way or another. You get to do it how you want to. So let's stop lowballing our potential. Um, so manifestors, super quick. So manifestors are the innovators of the collective. They have a strong internal guide. Obviously, Emma is a manifestor, and I love it because I've got all the ideas and all the things, and I'm like, "Oh, you could do this," and she's like, "No, no, thank you. That doesn't feel aligned." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, I'm here for that." Because you can't be influenced by others. At a very visceral state what is meant for you and what isn't. You are the change makers, the trailblazers, and the visionary leaders of our generation. When you talk and you give yourself full permission to be honest, that is when you really create like this cult following behind you, because what you're saying is so innovative and fresh. People, even if it's not necessarily a new topic, the way that you explain it is going to be different from how other people have heard it before. You are great at starting and creating new projects, but you don't need to be the one to execute them. You've got bold opinions, so don't be afraid to speak them and repel the people that are not meant to be your people online. You obviously don't have access to that regenerative battery like the generators and the manifesting generators do. So you need to rest between your projects. So one thing that I talk about, and we'll talk about in a sec when it comes to offers, is around, again, knowing what offers make most sense for your energy profile. You are here to initiate action, so you can be proactive in creating sales conversations and jumping into people's DMs and making direct invitations to work with you, because you're here to do that. That's your strategy. You are here to create original content, so don't necessarily get overwhelmed by looking at what other people are doing and, oh, I need to be doing reels and I need to be doing TikToks and I need to be doing it in a way that everybody else is doing it. It's like you just need to do your thing, do whatever it is that feels aligned to you. And actually, it's really exciting to work with manifestors because they're challenging, because they're innovators, and that for me is what is missing. So I always say, as much as I'm a mentor, as much as I'm a coach, I'm an entrepreneur first, and that I think is what is so disappointing. And again, I have very bold opinions. I'm very old school when it comes to business because I've been through the hard knocks and, like I say, the downturns and leafleting in the snow and, having to do what it takes to make a business with very real world expenses and payroll and responsibilities. And equally coming up through that hustle, that boss babe culture when I first became a business owner, that what was that? God, what the hell was I talking about? What the hell was I talking about with that train of thought? Um, mm, mm, mm. I don't bloody know, ladies. I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought. That is baby brain. This is why we're not here after so close postpartum to actually give value. Hang on. What was I talking about? I was saying about, I don't know, essentially, there's always easier ways to make money. Oh, innovation. Sorry. The thing that is most disappointing to me is that as women, we are constantly told that we are not good enough, that what we have to say is not important enough, that there are people out there better than us. And so, therefore, we get this real fear around creating anything that is truly innovative and original. That for me was what really surprised me when I came into the online space because and it just felt very much almost like pyramid schemes. One person did one program, so now they were an expert in that thing before they'd even embodied it or implemented it in their business. They were now selling that thing to somebody else, and it was just like Russian dolls almost. And it just made me really sad because it's like there's no excitement here, there's no creativity, there's no innovation. Everybody is just a regurgitation of somebody else. And it's almost like the poor man's version of this. And that really made me sad because, like I say, the only way that we can really outlive this next season of business and this next big collective shift is by really leaning into looking inwards to who we were meant to be, saying it in a way that feels aligned to us, because that's how you cannot be imitated, you cannot be copied, you cannot be undercut in terms of your pricing because nobody can do it like you do, boo. And nobody's had the life experience that you've had. Nobody's got um the affinity or the attachment to your business mission like you have. All of this is important. And yes, I know some of these concepts have been around for years, but I feel like now is the time to really lean into that. So, let's talk about projectors. So, sorry, a manifester, as I said, jump into the DMs, be really bold, make those invitations, create original content. People will sit up and that's absolutely fine. Make sure that you are building a business that allows you to have those rest periods, time off. You are the goddamn table, so it's time to start owning it. And then finally, I just want to quickly talk about projectors. So they are essentially the wise owls of the collective. So I've worked with many projectors before. They were typically, they might have different. So one example is a client that was a property developer. So and she is like probably my biggest success in terms of projector because again, she was like, I'm going to do property coaching, came into the online space, felt instantly overwhelmed, couldn't make any money, absolutely hated it. And it was because she was a projector. So she was being taught live launching, absolutely hated it. She was being taught, you got to show up, you got to do this. And she was just going through the motions in her business. So she was doing reels and it was all the pointing and the this and the that. And I was like, girl, you are a projector. Everything you say is pure gold. Like it is like divine wisdom. People need to hear your voice. They need to be in rooms, in containers where they can learn from you. You don't need to cheapen yourself with dancing TikToks. That's such a low ball of your potential. And because she was like a coach, she was also a developer, she was also an investor. So she did lots of things, but all around this one theme, which was property. So maybe if you're a projector, you have the same thing. Because you are that wise owl and you can see all the moving parts, it makes you, you're a great person to be in that strategic role. Maybe you are still in corporate and you are, or maybe you're a strategic consultant, but other businesses, you love systems and order. You're here to guide the other energy types. So her being a coach was a great role for her because she was meant to guide and encourage and inform other energy types. She always asked the great questions. She knew when other people, they tend to make great coaches, advisors, networkers because they see everything that goes on. Her aura is magnetic to invitations when you fully own your power. So again, when we worked together, we moved away from live launching because that just drained the life out of her. And instead, we did a lot of waitlist launches. So it's where you encourage people to sign up to your waitlist and then you nurture them through a sequence of emails. We did email launches where she would encourage people to sign up to her email list. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to have this incredible email series where I'm going to be breaking down how I got this result in 5 easy steps. So every day was a video, and essentially all I needed from her was 5 videos that were like 10 minutes each, because very bite-sized, very high level, very tangible action steps. And then I wrote all of the creative copy. We got that kind of scheduled in so she didn't have to worry about it. And all it took was what, like basically 1 hour of her time. She actually forgot about it because she knew she was going to be busy over Christmas, didn't want to have to be like over here, doing all the things where I would thrive with that. She would not. So it was also about her knowing herself, accepting that she has value to add to this space, even though there are bigger players than her in the property space. Um, and in that time, we made like 40K in 5 days without having to show up on socials, without having to do anything, because it was all done within the email list. Because if you're on her email, that's where the value is. And she loved to write the newsletters, to do little bits and pieces, but just couldn't deliver it in that way. So being live, being kept to a schedule where if she felt tired, if other things have been going on in her other business, and maybe you are a projector and need that too. um, they prefer to be invited. They don't like to put themselves out there. And she used to hate all of that. Again, she'd been taught about the cold DMs and all the things. She didn't like any of that. So, again, it's about owning your power. It's about calling out your clients. If you want to know this, drop me a DM for this. It's about having a team. It's about creating offers that gave her, you know, worked in cycles so that she could have intentional periods for rest, and to focus on her other business that didn't require too much of her blood, sweat, and tears. So course creation was an absolute must. So we created one signature academy, and then we took it apart to create other low ticket offers that ultimately, and for her it was all about funnels and systems and automations, and just having an infrastructure that supported her so that she didn't get drained from her business. Again, inside the academy I can show you how to do all of those things. Evergreen sales strategies, again, so she's not having to rely on launch periods. She can make money any day of the week. Um, so those are the main energy profiles that I wanted to talk to you about. So with all of that being said, can you see for yourself how differently maybe your business needs to be right now? How many different ways there are to make money? How many different ways there are to deliver your business, and the business that you're even creating? And then perhaps where you may have been going wrong by listening outside of yourself. Because as I said, what underpins all of this business is that you have to have a belief system that is in alignment, that what you want is safe for you to have, and that will be dependent on your childhood experiences as it relates to money, and also that you are worthy of receiving that money and that visibility and that impact and that praise and those clients and that recognition. And that will come down to your relationship with yourself, because I truly believe your net worth is directly correlated to your self-worth. And again, this is why the academy is called the First Generation Millionaires, because for a lot of us, we are the ones that are going first. Even if you didn't necessarily come from a struggling, poor background like I did, and that came from the fact that my dad passed when I was young. We were from a naval family. So as soon as he passed when I was 4, you're not in the Navy anymore, so therefore you can't live on the naval quarters. And we were essentially made homeless. My mum, obviously being like in her early 20s, never anticipated any of this, didn't have any backup plans. She had me and my sister at the time, and was absolutely struggling for ages. Then obviously she received some money, because when my dad passed we got an inheritance, but she didn't feel good about how it had come. There was no acclimatization to generally like knowing that you're meant for more, doing the growth work, gradually like acclimatizing to having more and more. It was just, there you go, that's your compensation for losing your soulmate at 25. She didn't feel good, so she self-sabotaged all of that money, all of those opportunities that and security that could have given us as a family. She just repelled it because it just, the energy around it didn't feel good. And then our house was repossessed again by the time I was 12. And essentially I was sent off to different family members. And the reason why I feel so passionate when it comes to women, especially, but any just heart-led people, doing this work around acclimatizing themselves to wealth, transforming their relationship with money, healing financial trauma, is because it's it's us that's going first, right? And if you don't do that work, if you haven't if you haven't got safety around receiving more, even if you had money. Like I say, there was a period of time where we actually had a lot of money and we had the good life for a period of time. But if you don't feel good about doing it, if you know that there is still more that you want, you will self sabotage. And I did that many times in my corporate career by lowballing my potential, not asking for what I was worth, not giving myself permission to go for the next promotion, to do things my own way, to say no when I wanted to say yes. And then ultimately in business, I spent my money like I stole it because I didn't feel worthy. I couldn't accept compliments or accolades. Even winning an award, I felt so like I didn't even post it on socials because I just felt so uncomfortable and like, oh no, I'm okay. Like I'm not really special. I'm not doing anything. And the thing that I always tell my daughters now, whenever I ask them something and they say I don't know, I'm like, yes, you do know. Yes, you bloody do know. It's about being honest and giving yourself permission to say what it is that you want to say. And I'm here to receive it. So, yes, if you don't know, you better get to know, because that's the most powerful thing that you can do as a woman is own your voice and know yourself. Um, so if you don't have that belief system and you don't have that relationship with money that tells you that it's okay, you will undermine all of the things that I have just told you. You will question yourself, you will self-sabotage, you will doubt yourself, and you will go against what intuitively you know to be right. You will be trying to put a square peg in a round hole. You will be trying to sell a business or an offer or a solution that you think will make money, even if it actually doesn't. And for me, money mindset as a concept is not something that I just pulled out of the air. It's something that has been part of my life story since I was 4 years old and my dad passed. It is essentially who I am. Like, that is all of my life experiences have this ribbon through it that is, or this golden thread, which is money. Because having money is living life on your own terms. It is about thriving and expanding into places. It's about being able to explore every interest and passion that you were meant to explore at your like blueprint spiritual level, in alignment with your human design, before the world got a hold of you and told you that everything that you know to be true is wrong, and that all of those parts that made you you are wrong. So obviously that's what we do inside the academy. So again, I can hype you up. I can tell you you're amazing. You deserve to charge what you want in your prices. People will pay it. Da, 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 da. But if you don't fundamentally believe that, you're going to undermine yourself anyway. But let's talk about it a little bit. So you need your values and mission. So as I've said, what is the value and mission of your business? Even if you are selling investments in property. So I had this recently with a client who was essentially looking for investors. She's like, I don't have a service or an offer. I'm like, well, you do, because you have an opportunity for people to benefit from the investments that you're making. So, but why do you care? Why do you not just want to go to a bank, and because you want to go to the individuals in your socials? Why do you care that they make money when you make money? And she was like, because I want this to be accessible. And it's like, the more you ask yourself that question, like, why am I doing this thing? Why do I even give a shizzle about this product or offer that I'm selling? Get to the crux of it, because that's where the true gold is. People love to be part of your brand story. They love to get behind people. I was talking about this the other day in my mastermind. Zoe might even be on here. I was talking about Stacey Solomon. Like, no one begrudges Stacey Solomon having, if you follow her, let me know, having an incredible life now, living on a beautiful farm, having these incredible experiences. Everybody is rooting for her because they have been part of her journey, because they know how much it means to her, because they are so excited to witness that growth and celebrate and support her success. So they will want to do the same for you. People love to get into, at the beginning, or be part of something bigger. As I say, my business is ultimately about getting more collective wealth into the hands of heart-led business founders so that they can live life on their own terms, heal their trauma, and so that the world becomes a better place. But I can't put that into necessarily a course or a program. But what I'm creating is communities where those kind of people are going to feel safe. They're going to feel seen. They're going to feel supported, because everybody there is the same. That's the biggest bit of feedback that I get. I just did a big event in November and everybody was like, I just love how it wasn't all about the sales and just getting as many people into the room as possible. How beautiful the energy felt, how lovely all of the women were that they spoke to each other. And I was like, yeah, because those are the communities that I cultivate. If you are a shark, if you are in lack, you are not invited into my rooms, because it's like having the rotten apple in a barrel. Like, you're going to infect everybody else, and I'm here to raise the collective up, not make them feel less than. So even if you are at day one of your business and you're not making any money at all, you're still welcome here, and we're going to inspire and cheerlead and, you know, do all the things. I love my mastermind for that reason, because the women are genuinely like opening doors, sending clients, sending referrals, supporting each other from the sidelines. That's how we make the world a better place, ladies, by dealing with our shit and by putting ourselves in the right rooms where we can thrive. So what is the ultimate value and mission of your business, or the bigger picture behind why you want to create your business? If you have that front and foremost, even if it's in your, it should be in your marketing message and it should be in your brand story, because people will rally and get behind that. But even if it's not, you need it front of mind. As I said, I had a client recent, well, actually it was a few years ago now, but she had a fashion subscription brand, and she was trying to scale this business or trying to create the launch. And she was like, I'm just not really getting any signups. And I was like, that's because what you're selling is a fashion subscription box. Why do I even need to care about that? Like, why is that a big deal to me? That wasn't it at all. When I dove deeper into why she created it, what the purpose of it was, what the intention of it was, essentially what she had, we filtered it all back to a moment. Like a crossroads, a moment in her journey where she had been in a changing room and she was a little bit bigger, didn't fit the normal, like conform to the normal, like size 10s, size 12s. I've always been the same. Like, I'm very short, I'm 5'1". I've always had big boobs, big bum, nothing ever kind of fit, didn't quite fit the petite mold, didn't fit the regular mold because my legs are short. And I was like, and we essentially got back to that. So I was like, and she created this tailored fashion subscription where it's all to your dimension. And I was like, so what you're essentially selling is female empowerment, self-permission to not conform to what other people's version of a size 10 is. You're creating, like, you're selling confidence to walk into a room knowing that you look the absolute, like, bomb.com. I'm so old. And that you feel like fire in your most confident, most empowered self. What is that going to do for your client? And this feeds actually into the price point. Because when we talk about what we are selling, you know, and it gets to price point, it's like, yes, I'm going to change somebody's life. I'm going to give them an incredible, beautiful, luxury, like, moment, experience, opportunity. And I'm going to sell it for £27. What's the F? Ladies, no. This is not okay. Like, we need to, when you're selling, when you're thinking about your price point, straight away the masculine logic comes in. What do I think people are going to pay for this? And it's not about that, because there is a buyer at every price point. We need to get to, and it's not about audacious, like, take the P pricing either. If you don't truly believe in the value that your product is bringing, that it's worthy of those prices, you're never going to be able to sell it at that price point. And if you do, it won't feel good, because you're essentially taking the piss out of people. And I think that there is a life cycle in people that do that. You know, there's a lot of coaches that will sell you high ticket and deliver a low ticket offer. I've invested in masterminds that have been pitched at this high ticket, you know, mastermind experience, which is all about tapping into people at the same level, collective values, and getting, you know, 10xing your results as a result of being in the frequency of that room. But what they've actually delivered is essentially a group coaching program, but just at a high ticket price point. And there's a misalignment there. So we need to, when you're thinking about your price point, think about something that feels good to you, that is actually sustainable, because I also believe in sustainable business. So we need to get it at a price point where you're not killing your soul, you're not relying on thousands of clients to come into this offer, unless, you know, there's an argument when it comes to, like, funnel building to create low ticket offers and have something for passive sales. That's an advanced strategy. But when you're first launching your business, or, you know, looking to scale your business, you need to have one signature offer that encompasses all of the things that I've mentioned, that your values, your mission, the transformation, the experience, the product, the opportunity that you want to sell. Have that one point of focus rather than 100 different things. Like me as a manifesting generator, I'll have lots of things that I sell on the back end that are like bonus things. It's about leveraging the content that you're creating, all of these little pop-up offers and all of the things. Absolutely do that, because we need to be smart business women. But in the first instance and in your core instance of what it is that you're selling, have that one signature offer that if you just sold that every day is going to really make an impact in your income. That's really going to allow people to get to know you, and see what you can do. That's also going to keep people in your world for longer. So let's talk a little bit about offers. So you want to have something that you're really excited to sell. So as I mentioned, before I learnt my human design profile, I was doing what everybody else was doing. I was selling group coaching programs one after the other. I was constantly having to innovate and think of new things, which is fine because I've got no end of inspiration. But to constantly be in launch, yes, some of that was exciting, but it didn't actually align with my values at home. So obviously, young kids, life happens, things are going to happen. And I couldn't constantly be in live launch mode, delivering, writing, creating. It just didn't make sense because it was so much energy and it was making me really resent my business, if I'm honest. It also meant I had to keep expanding the net with my audience. And actually, I'm the kind of person that wants, like, I've got clients that have been with me for 5 years, and I love that because I'm a person that is, again, as a manifesting generator, I want to know everything. I want to know your kids' names. I want to know your profile. I want to know your mission. I want to know your partner. I couldn't do that in the communities that I was building because there weren't really any communities because people were coming, going every season of my group coaching program. And it was like, bye then, you were amazing. God, we'd probably be friends outside of this. And I used to get FOMO. So I was like, actually, I need to create longer term containers that mean that people can be with me for longer, that I can help them through this transformation, but the next transformation and the next evolution, and that there can be a real intentional journey. So for me, what I have is my academy, which obviously I'm relaunching now as with this beta. And then for the women that have maybe done that or are ready for the next level or are already making more money or just ready for those higher level visibility strategies, that's where the mastermind is. So I've got a clear path of ascension throughout my offers. And then as a manifesting generator, I've also got hundreds of little things around that mean that, it's just repurposing and leveraging all of the other things that I've already got. So what is that for you? Let me know what your core offer is, because also from the masculine strategic side, this helps you to build a reputation in the online space as somebody that is the go-to expert for something. It also enables you to add some stability to your business. So even if you have a product business, is there something that can complement that? Something that keeps people coming back to that product? So maybe a subscription service. I even had this in the barbershop for haircuts. Is there a loyalty program that keeps people in your world for longer? Because we don't want to keep burning through people and leads and having to find new people. It's about keeping people in your world for longer and continuing to be the gift that keeps on giving. So what is that? Again, I might do a separate training on pathways to profit and ascensions and all of those sorts of things. But right now, what have you got in your business? And knowing everything that you know now with your human design energy profile, does it make sense that you're delivering that? So as I said, with my client that was a projector, we created a core academy, because that made sense in terms of her monthly recurring revenue. Because then once you've got people in there for longer, it means that you can be more accessible by offering extended payment plans, that you have that core recurring revenue coming into your business every month. That's how I've just managed to essentially take 5 months off from my business with no sales, no market, hard, like literally barely on socials whatsoever. I haven't sold any new offers. I've just been leveraging a few extra sales, passive income, affiliate income, and my monthly recurring revenue. So even now, I know how much money is coming in for the next 12 months of my business. Having that power and that stability and that safety helps reinforce my relationship with money. It helps me to make decisions. It helps me invest in my business to grow. Do you have that right now? If you don't, then there is a very real opportunity within your offers to create that, whatever that looks like for you. So that's the thing. There are so many ways that you can create offers that encourage longevity. It could just be having the customer journey, a path to ascension, as I mentioned, having my low ticket, then my mid ticket, then my high ticket. It could be having a membership model. It could be that just so many things. If you want help with that, come and join us in the academy, let me know. Obviously, I've mentioned about pricing. So here's the crux of it all. Selling is serving. Giving somebody an invitation to let you help them is a sacred act of service. It is not an inconvenience, and it is not an annoyance for the right person that needs you right now. And anytime you tell yourself that it is, remind yourself that ego will always make it about you. And because we're here, we want to be accepted by our tribe. We don't want to be abandoned or rejected by the people around us by being too much, too salesy. Again, like, genuinely, if you know you have an issue with your money mindset, which 99% of people are going to have that, unless you are currently a millionaire, who is, because even if you don't aspire to seven figures, you can make that money and give it away. There's so much impact that you can make if you are making more money than it takes to survive, and you are giving yourself permission to thrive in this lifetime. But that only comes from healing your past trauma so that you feel safe to and fully in your body, your mind, and your soul, safe to receive more money, more love. So here's the thing, when it comes to money, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you don't feel comfortable receiving money, chances are you don't feel comfortable receiving love, affection, support, being seen, being honest with yourself. And that all comes down to your childhood conditioning, what you witnessed as a child, what you've experienced throughout this lifetime. I dive so deep into all of this through the neuroscience, the energetics, the somatic work that it takes to really heal that and embody the next level, because this is why 70% of lottery winners don't keep hold of their winnings, and why my mum didn't feel safe having the money that she did. More money will not solve your problems if you are not able to hold that kind of money. You will self-sabotage and reject it at every level, at a conscious level, at an unconscious level, at an energetic level. It's just not going to stay with you because it doesn't feel safe to stay with you either. So you have to do that work. So this is again where your pricing comes into play, because again, we need to have sustainable prices. You can only, conviction is ultimately what you're selling. When you are having an exchange with somebody and making an invitation for them to work with you or invest in your thing or buy your product, it's your conviction that what you have is incredible, that they would be an idiot not to purchase, that you are fully confident in the results and the transformation that they will get from purchasing with that thing. And that only comes from that real self-permission and self-trust. It comes from having a business that is so aligned to your values and your mission, you can't stop, won't stop talking about it, because it's so much bigger than just the thing. It's about creating an offer, as I said, that doesn't have any conflict. So again, there's no point me running group coaching programs every 6 weeks when actually it is in conflict with my values as a mum, that I want to be present for my baby that I just birthed, that had lots of health challenges at the beginning of her little life. I want to be available for her. So for me, the offers that I've created are a win-win-win-win-win. There is no conflict to me selling those places. Not only do I believe in it fully, does it feed into my higher purpose and mission and values in this lifetime. It's also at a price point that feels good, and it's delivered in a way that doesn't have any conflict in me receiving that, but it's also aimed at the kind of women that I want to spend time with, that I am excited to be in a room with. So that's the next point around your audience, and that only comes from you showing up online in the most confident way, in a way that is aligned to your human design, so it feels natural, so you're not having to rehearse and put on this persona. And it just makes me so sad, because I consult with other business coaches and other women in business, and I've experienced them in my mastermind. I see the mask that they have to wear and the rigidity, whatever the word is, that they have put in their business, that means that they have to gotta show up, right, game face. We don't need that. I literally roll onto the camera and I'm excited to be here. That's how you should be marketing your business, in a way that just feels natural, because again, there's no conflict in you selling and showing up, because it's exactly what you would be doing at the school gates, having a conversation, at a networking event, having a conversation with people. It feels natural, doesn't feel forced. You're not handling people's objections. You're not having to use a 3-step formula. You're not having to prepare and wait. Money loves speed. So you can show up any day of the week and just talk about what it is that you're excited about and make invitations, and you're going to make money. Um, and that for me is what is having a soulful sales system is. So it's having a business that you're obsessed with, that really aligns with your values and your mission in this lifetime, creating an offer where there is no conflict for you to sell it, that you're really excited to deliver at a price point that feels good and is sustainable and expansive and exciting when those sales come in, not like, ugh, now I need to sell another 100 more, to an audience that are your people, that are aligned with your message, your stories, the way that your experiences, the way that you do it, the way that you tell it, the way that you deliver it, and in a way, marketing it in a way that feels natural, because it's who you were always meant to be, who you've probably been since you were like 12, 4, whatever, and that you have a belief system underneath that that tells you that it is safe for you to go out, deliver, sell, and offer that solution to others. So, hopefully, that's given you some insights and some takeaways. I'm just going to quickly go back and check in the comments if this makes sense. If you want me to go back, yay, if you want me to go back over anything, let me know. But essentially, that is the crux of it. So, I want you to have a look at today. Does my business support me in sharing my values and my mission? Does it even support it anyway? Does it do that thing? If it does, am I leveraging this enough on my socials and in my marketing message? Am I telling people that that is why, ultimately? Because people will buy into that more than just a here's my thing, buy it. Am I creating an offer that I am actually truly excited to sell? Or am I just doing it because a business coach told me once that that's what I need to offer? Because let me tell you, there are so many ways to make money online. You do, and especially if you're a manifestor, like, you don't need to do it like other people. Am I truly giving myself permission to sell it at a price point that's actually going to make a difference, not only to my life, but then that will filter out into the other people's lives around me? Or am I doing it at a price point that my logical brain is telling me that people will pay? And I get that a lot within the spiritual communities. Other people aren't charging these prices. But here's the thing, Gucci is not in competition with Primark. There is a market for every price point. You just need to make sure that what you're delivering is meeting the expectations of the price point that you're selling it at, and then we're not taking the piss. Are you selling to an audience that are ultimately truly your people, that you are going to be excited to deliver to, or is it you're trying to speak to everybody, or use the language and the jargon that other people are using? Are you mimicking what other people are doing? And are you doing it in a way that is truly aligned to your energy profile and how you're meant to do it in this lifetime? And if you feel like you're doing all those things and you are not getting the results that you desire, then probably it's because your belief system underpinning all of that is not in alignment with your goals. And obviously, that is where it is for you to start to recognize that, cultivate radical self-awareness, and start to do the work to give yourself permission and find your safety in receiving. So I'm just going through the comments. Thank you so much. Yes, please do go and follow Emma, because she is just an angel on this earth, and she will give you such a beautiful reading. And I love that. So that is us, just a natural extension. It's like, if you're interested, if you're curious, here is an offer, an invitation to find your thing. Yay, I may now be behind in the feed. Yes. Yeah, so Lorna, tell me if you know what it is. Everyone who wants to grow a business needs Rebecca Barr in their life. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Zoe. This is what I mean. Like, my communities are the best. Um, yes, and equally, I can pop a link in here if you want to just do a free. There's lots of free things online that will tell you all you need to know is your date of birth, your place of birth, and your time of birth. If you do not know your time of birth, to be fair, I don't know my time of birth, but I intuitively just kind of sat with it for a bit, and I thought, oh, 5 o'clock in the morning, that feels right. You can use the pendulum. There's lots of ways that you can kind of get to a time that feels like, yes, that feels right, and then pop that in, and then if what comes up feels aligned to you, then go with that. So again, I can pop a link in. I'm sure Emma can do it. There's lots of free websites on the internet that will give you that. Love this regarding potential insights on people's personality. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yes, amazing. Oh, love Stacey Solomon and Mrs. Hinch. Yes. See, this is what I mean. Most of my clients, like, we could go on a night out. We are so aligned. It's insane. And even past clients, we will often like be messaging And we're like, oh my God, I thought of you. I thought of you because our energy is so aligned. Now, does that not feel a good way to run a business? And if you have to take time away from your kids or have to do anything in this lifetime, does that not feel good? And that's where we want to get to, where every part of your business feels good. There's no conflict to you receiving, your values are in alignment. That is when you ultimately turn up and sell with your soul, and you get the rewards that you deserve. That's when you can tap into the true abundance that is meant for you. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. And I'm loving my little hype squad on the comments. Thank you so much, ladies. I love you. I appreciate you. And obviously, if you are curious or want to dive deeper into any of this, then please do come and join us inside the Academy or the Mastermind. I'll pop the details for both. And I look forward to hearing your ahas and takeaways. Thank you so much, ladies. Celebrating all of you for turning up today on a beautiful bank holiday. Who knew? And let's go get that money, honey, because everyone wins when you do.